Thought I was on mute.
That's it. That's the soundbite. That's going to be the start of the podcast.
There's your cold opening.
That's the cold open right there.
Didn't sound that cold.
When you both paused, I went, oh.
Welcome to Born to Watch, where three old mates, an ex-video shop owner, an industry insider, and a black belt in 80s kung fu movies put their mastery to the test on movies that changed the world.
Hi there, fellow watchers. I'm Whitey, and it's another episode of Born to Watch. Look, we went out on a very long limb this week with this movie, and I think I can safely say that in 1987, this may not have been in our wheelhouse, but it definitely isn't 36 years later. I'm, for one, very interested to see what the three of us come up with for this nerd transformation high school comedy, Can't Buy Me Love. G-Man, you're looking very pensive sitting opposite me tonight.
Yes, good evening to all our watchers. Welcome, everyone. Yes, Can't Buy Me Love, hey?
Yes.
Can't buy me that 94 minutes.
No, don't. You're funny you mentioned that. It sounds very similar to my kick-ass credit song, which will be later in the show. Dan up there on the land, munching on his juice. How you going?
Yeah, it's been a big week on the land, but I'll just say that I mentioned this movie to quite a few people of our vintage and said I was doing it, and that it was very well received, and a lot of, oh yeah, I used to love that movie. So it's interesting where we'll get to over the course of the next however many minutes we dedicate to this movie. But yeah, look, big week on the land. It's all been about regional leisure activities this week, so plenty of waves around. So I joined 50,000 of my neighbours out on the Noosa Points, which is good, and I've been out in the national park with my daughters on the zips, riding it like a man. So, but the most surprising was me and M Head have been testing our marksmanship up on the land. So I don't know if you guys know, but when I was 19, I did a guy in Laos with a rifle shot at 1,000 yards in high wind. Maybe 8 or even 10 guys in the world could have made that shot.
I thought it was 3 or 4 myself, but anyway.
It's the only thing I was ever good at.
Yeah, thanks, Riggsy. All right, look, if you want to support the podcast and help us grow, make sure you subscribe to us on all good podcast platforms, and please share to your friends. You can also find us on all the social networks, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, MySpace, Yahoo Messenger. Feel free to reach out and join the community. And actually, this week, we've just started a group on Facebook as well as the page. So any watchers can in there, and there are no rules. You can just throw in the gutters that you want, start the banter. Look, sitting down to watch this, I was hit with this amazing wave of nostalgia. And I was actually somewhat looking forward to watching it. I couldn't quite remember when was the last time I had seen it. But as I sat and watched this movie, I was hit with something that I can call maybe a sense of relief and also a tinge of embarrassment. So, gents, when did we first see Can't Buy Me Love? I'll start with you up on the land there, Dan, seeing that this was your selection.
Yeah, it was definitely when we were at school. So it was a bit of a mainstay. I don't know when, because I don't think the three of us watched it together.
No.
But I remember thinking very fondly of it, and at the time thinking it was pretty cool. So remembering that this is well before
For sure.
On the Line was made, and we didn't have a real good understanding of American culture, and it was just what it was force-fed to us in films. So teen high school movies, there had been a few, but I guess not heaps, and Can't Buy Me Love on the rewatch definitely, if it didn't invent a whole heap of tropes that we would see for the next 30 years in teen high school movies, then it must have been one of the first to have the screenwriters jizzing over each other, getting out these tropes that we just see over and over and over again. So, yeah, it must have been Solo, I guess, at my house, but As I said, I've spoken to a few people of our ilk, and it was definitely a film that they enjoyed as well. So, but haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, G, man?
Saw it around the 87, 88 mark. I remember it being on VHS video in our house. My elder sister.
Kelly would have been all over.
Yeah,
I was going to say, your sisters have been right into this.
Right.
Well,
into this.
Kelly was around that. She was within 15 or 16, I guess, at that stage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember it got a run.
Back in the Flakely years. Love you, Kel. Gal's gone. Visibly gone.
Oh, dear.
Sorry, everyone. I'm on mute, but I'm fucking cacking myself.
I wish we had that on film. Fucking hell.
Where were we?
Flakely years.
So yes, it got a few runs in our house. I remember it being on quite a bit, but I don't remember how many times I saw it. It was quite a few back then, but I wouldn't have seen this since probably 1988 or 89, somewhere around there.
That long?
Got to run for a couple of months. I don't think I've seen it since then. I can't possibly tell you that I've seen it after that.
Did you remember everything?
I remembered the crux of the movie, and and obviously the storyline, but not all the detail. But as
I must have seen it plenty because I knew every scene. There was nothing that I didn't remember, which is good for my brain, as we know it's all fairly cooked.
Oh no, I don't know that, Dan. I reckon 35 years ago is right where your memory sits.
It is strange.
Like 35 minutes ago or 35 days ago, you're fucked.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I did last week, but 35 years ago, I know that I saw this a lot.
Okay.
Well, see, yeah, because he was in another teenage angsty movie, I'm sure, or a nerd movie, Patrick Dempsey, and I'm sure, and I was mucking up some of the lines thinking they were in that movie. But as we went through this, I heard some of those sayings. I'm like, oh, that's right, of course that happened. So, but yeah, it was definitely a throwback.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I sat watching this movie. I was excited because I thought, yeah, let's relive the 80s again, and in a genre which isn't completely that fond to me. I realized about 12 minutes in, I have not seen this movie. I have never seen this movie. This is the first time that I have seen Can't Buy Me Love.
No shit.
Absolutely serious. So I was hit with a bit of a tinge of relief, thinking, fuck, thank God I haven't spent 40 years with this movie. And the next part was, well, a bit embarrassed because, we've got a movie podcast here and I proclaim to be the guru here of watching movies. And this is a demo number for me. And we're going to go to overs and unders here. And I'm at 1. And what about you, Gal? We're going to set it. Look, after hearing Dan, I did set it originally at 5. I'm going to go 10. I'm going to get 10 for you too.
I'm under 10.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm under 10. I watched it a few times. Look, it would have been on video in our house, but that's it. I haven't watched it heaps of times, and certainly haven't watched it at any stage post the 90s.
Yeah, sure. What about you, Dan?
I'd say I'm over 10, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's strap yourself in, people, and let's listen to one of the great 80s movie trailers.
Cindy Mancini and Ronald Miller live on the same street, but they're in totally different worlds.
Wouldn't you like to be popular?
Cindy's hot, Ronald's not, but he's got a plan that could change all that.
I want to rent you.
Rent me?
Yeah. You pretend you like me, and we go out for just a few weeks.
Just going out with me is not going to make you popular.
Well, I have $1,000. It says it will.
Now, the biggest social transformation in history
No hand-holding, no kissing, and I get my lunch hour off.
is about to begin.
Okay, Donald, we're ready.
Cindy, one last thing.
Yeah.
My name is Ronald, not Donald.
I think that's Ronald Miller. Didn't you used to mow our lawn?
Ronald's over in no man's land, and he's still alive.
He's going from totally geek
Totally chic.
Let's dance!
to totally out of control.
I have moves. All I ever did was think about you.
Say yourself. Don't change to please me.
Me change? Never.
It's the comedy that proves $1,000 can buy popularity, but it
Okay, G-Man, another great trailer. McDreamy or McSteamy, whatever his fucking name is from Grey's Anatomy, doing his best. Why don't you tell us about Can't Buy Me Love?
All right, here we go. Nowhere man Ronnie Miller is secretly in love with Cindy Mancini, the prettiest, most popular girl on campus. When Cindy finds herself in a desperate predicament, super desperate.
What's the desperate predicament?
The suede suit.
Ah, please.
That's the desperate predicament.
My God, it's not Bobby's straightened hair, is it?
Hey?
That might be. That's pretty desperate, Bobby's hair. But anyway, we'll move on.
Ronnie steps in to save the day for a price. Cindy must pose as Ronnie's girl so that her popularity might rub off on him. But the road to popularity takes an unexpected twist when Ronnie becomes so cool that his former friends feel the chill. Cindy is left totally out in the cold, and Ronnie himself discovers that money might buy you popularity, but it can't buy you love.
Okay, another shit synopsis.
It pretty much just rolls through the whole movie. So.
Now, he doesn't become too cool. He's still a fucking nerd just with different clothes. And that's the thing I struggle with through the whole movie. Okay, let's look at critical thinking. And, I scoured really hard to find a Dave Kerr review of this. But there was one, but there were no real punchy sort of notes in there. So we're going without Wayne today. But critical thinking, okay, on IMDb, this one rates. What do you reckon this rates on IMDb, Morgs?
I don't think it's not an 8 movie, but it's not a 4 either. I reckon it's a 7, low 7s.
6.8 out of 10 on
there we
IMDb.
go.
That's pretty good. Well played. On Rotten Tomato, it's 50% on the tomato meter and a 74% audience score. So popular with the people, not so popular with the critics.
I think appreciate that.
Yeah, I would
Yes,
think
yes.
that that's probably got a good score when it came out, and it probably hasn't got that bigger score as it's gone on.
If anyone watched it now,
Yeah.
it'd be hard to rate.
That's what I
it,
mean.
right? Yeah.
That's
So,
what I mean.
Okay, so we'll give it a good review. David Nusser from Real Film Reviews. A mostly watchable comedy that benefits substantially from the affable work of its 2 stars.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was that guy's name David Nusser?
Could be. Could be.
Morgs.
Okay, the bad one. Karen James from the New York Times. The film thinks it wants to be sincere when all it truly wants is to be popular, just like the other kids' movies, so it sells off its originality. A bit cutting.
There you go.
Cutting. All right, let's move into ordinary people, and this is full of them on you, yeah. Let's talk about the cast.
Yeah, it's pretty lightweight on the cast this week, but we'll get into the couple of stars we got there. Patrick Dempsey. Now, Patrick Dempsey's had a couple of what we call different lives in his career. Started off in quite a few of these awkward charmer, angsty movies as a youngster, but then obviously morphed later on into McDreamy or McSteamy, and then into quite a few movie roles after that. But as with a lot of others, he started with a fair bit of stage work as a youngster. His first movie role was a movie called Catholic Boys, 1985.
Wow.
With Donald Sutherland and Andrew McCarthy.
Can't imagine that's a comedy.
No. Then bounced right into Meatballs 3, Summer Job.
Wow.
In 87 as Rudy. And then 87 as well, Can't Buy Me Love.
This is the one that
This put him
catapulted
on the map.
This was on the stratosphere. He was massive after this.
Yeah, he was quite big. And then he was in another movie in 88 called Some Girls, which was with Jennifer Connelly.
Seriously.
Yeah.
In the early 80s, 90s, Jennifer Connelly's just a 12 out of 10.
Yes.
Still is.
Mm-hmm. Maybe this was the other one I was thinking of was Loverboy. He played Randy Bodek in 89. It was another angsty teen movie.
Vaguely remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I was mixing up the lines. There's a couple of different quotes that he has in that movie.
Yep.
91, he was in Mobsters as Meyer Lansky with Christian Slater.
Yeah, that was the Brat Packy sort
Yes.
of
New Brat Pack, yeah.
Yeah, who was the guy?
Was Stephen Dorff?
Stephen Greco. Richard Grieco.
Richard Grieco.
Richard Grieco's in Mobsters.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
94 with Honours with Joe Pesci and Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. Remember that.
And then he was in Outbreak in 95.
Yeah, he plays the guy that has the monkey.
Yeah, Jimbo Scott.
He's the first one.
Yeah, he's the first guy.
He's patient 0.
Yep. So it's a very small role.
Yeah.
And then he was in Scream 3 in 2000 as well. So he sort of fell off the radar a little bit, not doing a lot there for that 90s period. Then did hit it back big in 2001. Came back to Will and Grace, 3 episodes. It's Grace's love interest, Matthew.
Are you sure you weren't mistaking some of the lines from one of the Will and Grace episodes?
Mate, I don't know. Been a lot of them. And then he was back in Sweet Home Alabama in 2002 as the love interest.
I think
there.
this is where he had his second win.
This is
Now
where his second win. But Then 2005 was Grey's Anatomy as Dr. Derek Shepherd McDreamy.
Yep.
247 episodes.
What a shit show.
Yeah.
Like, I think I lasted 3 years of Grey's Anatomy.
Really?
The first series was pretty good. Once everyone started, it became a bit like Friends, where
Yep.
everyone just started to root everyone.
Yeah.
And it was like, come on.
Well, that's how all these shows do it. They run out
God.
and then they all have intertwisting
Yeah.
storylines. But I don't think I ever watched that series regularly. I may have watched episodes from
Yeah.
time to time. I don't think I ever watched.
There was no Desperate
full
Housewives,
season.
that's for sure.
You never would have picked, though, having seen Can't Buy Me Love, that he would be the major heartthrob love interest in a decades long running huge television series. I mean, he's a bit like myself. He got a bit more rootable as he got older. So it's a bit Benjamin Buttony in reverse, but
it's always been my bugbear is that this guy's not McDreamy. He's the dork from Can't Buy Me Love.
Listen, Morgs, it is very much on your same mark because in this movie he runs your 87 hair. I'm pretty sure that's how you ran it.
I saw a cow lick. That's why he was running the hat. Another reason why I really like him is his plethora of hats. There's some really good hats in this flick.
When you start a movie in a pith helmet on the back of a tractor and then you move to a beret, that was Morgs 87 all over.
Yeah.
It.
Okay, now
It was like Morgs running a beret when we were in Canada.
I'm sure we'll get to the beret, but did anyone else notice that I think he used it as his dump rag? There were that many freaking stains on the top of that beret. I reckon it's second as his dump rag. He creeped through the bloody chain wire fence while he's watching Cindy. He used to shoot his wad into his beret. Creep. Have a look. Look at the next one. There's all these bloody white stains on top of it.
I'll take it. For someone who's seen the movie once,
Trust me.
some...
When you are looking for things to pick the shit out of it, you're looking for dump rags.
If that's your go-to.
That's it.
All right. 2008, Maid of Honor.
Yeah.
He was in with Michelle Monaghan. And then 2010, Transformers, Dark of the Moon.
He plays
Michelle Monaghan. She had a bit of a moment there.
She did have a moment.
she
She had a
did.
good run there, 6 or 7 years.
She's good looking.
Yeah, she's
No,
great.
she's
girl, yeah.
gorgeous.
Married
lady,
Ethan
but-
Hunt. Married Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible movies.
Right, that's right. Of course, that's what she's from.
But it felt like they were positioning her as a stratospheric star, but it didn't quite go that way.
Well, she came to prominence in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That was
Yeah.
her first role.
Yeah.
With, as
Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, look, the only one of note for him after that was Bridget Jones's Baby. Again, the competing love interest in 2016,
move on.
if you've seen that.
Move on, McDreamy.
Yeah. All right, we'll roll through to Amanda Peterson. So her first role was in the movie Annie. Now there was...
I do remember her. I know the girl. Yeah, definitely.
So she's
in the orphanage.
8,000 girls tried out for Annie. She got down to the last 10.
Yep.
Right. And then she lost out to Aileen Quinn.
Yeah.
But then she was still
She
one
was
of
one
the
of the girls in the Orphan Girls.
And actually, Tina Kaspari, who's one of her friends on the movie, was one of the girls in the orphanage as well.
Annie's a great movie.
Yeah.
Really is.
So it's funny, two of them were on that. But after that, she didn't do a lot.
Well, apparently she had a pretty rough time on this movie, which led to her drug addiction and morphine overdose. And she died in 2013, I think it was.
2016.
There we go. She was 43.
She was 43.
Beautiful girl.
Beautiful.
She was only 15 when they made this movie.
Yeah, she was 15.
And Dempsey was 20. That might have had something to do with it.
It was funny because she was 15 and one of the other girls around the same age, Dempsey was 20, and one of the friends, one of those two girls, was 23.
Yeah, yeah.
So...
Well, fucking hell, I've got him a good, bad, the ugly. All the guys look 30 in this movie.
Well,
all the guys look 30.
Yeah. But look, she did a bit of TV, did an episode of Silver Spoons, and then a couple of smaller roles before the breakout in Can't Buy Me Love. She was in a movie called The Lawless Land in 88, and then another one called Listen to Me in 89 with Kirk Cameron and Jamie Gertz and Roy Scheider.
Wow. All-star.
But her last movie was Windrunner with as Julie Moore with Margot Kidder in 94. And then after that, she fell off the radar, stopped acting. And then, as we said, she went through some bad times, drug and alcohol addictions, and then was on the way to making a comeback before her untimely demise.
Yeah, overdose, methadone overdose, I think it was.
Morphine.
Okay.
She was having morphine to combat some pain, but apparently had a accidental overdose.
Yep. Sad?
Yes. Anyway, we'll go to Courtney Gaines. Now, Courtney Gaines
he's a jobber, man.
He's a real jobber. Now, he's the redheaded friend in this movie, right? The best friend.
Redheaded stepchild.
But he started his first movie was Children of the Corn. He was Malachi in Children of the Corn in '84. He's in Back to the Future.
Yep.
He's one of the school
Scram,
kids.
McFly.
Yeah.
I'm cutting in.
It's funny because you don't. He's one of those faces in the background. It's not till you see him that you pick him again.
Yeah.
You go, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But then
he's a real jobber.
Yeah. Can't Buy Me Love. He was in Colours in 1988 with Sean Penn.
He's one of the Eshays.
Yeah, he's a white
Yeah.
Eshay.
Yeah, he's a white Eshay.
Yeah, his name was Whitey.
There you go. Good
There you
fella. Great fella.
Good looking fella.
Shit cunt.
Or that. One of them.
But he was also in The Burbs in '89, Memphis Belle in 1990.
Yeah.
And then did a heap of TV jobbing.
Yeah.
Diagnosis Murder, Nash Bridges, Pacific Blue, Jag, ER.
I'm pretty sure he's in the X-Files. He's in an episode of the X-Files.
Yes.
There's like a inbreeding family and he's in it.
Lots of one-off episodes of TV shows until he was in Sweet Home Alabama again with Patrick Dempsey. And he was the police officer.
Yeah.
The sheriff.
Was
in
he in Oz? Did he get chocked up the?
I don't think
I
don't think he was in Oz. I don't think he would have been good in Oz. I think he would have.
I thought Krista Maloney rooted him for sure in Oz.
No.
He rooted everyone.
No, he did heap of that show. He did Charmed, he did Alias, he did your favourite Morgs, Nash Bridges.
Yep.
Did My Name Is Earl, The Middle. So he's done a lot of TV acting.
Yeah. Sitcom master.
Look, another one we got here. Only he has a small role as the younger brother Chucky Miller, but it's Seth Green.
Is their worst set of teeth in cinema?
No, he's got some choppers.
Yeah.
But look, we only put him in here because he is probably one of the most
it's quite funny.
Well known of the cast.
When there's a scene that he's in when he's hiding in the back of the hiding in the back of the car, and they play Secret Agent Man, which also plays in the Austin Powers movies.
Yes.
I was chuckling at that, thinking, there we go.
Gets farted on twice in this movie.
Yeah, that's in My Good, Bad, the Ugly.
Doesn't get a good run of it. But this was one of his very early roles. Obviously, I think he was only young.
Shit teeth.
He was in another movie in '87 called Radio Days as well, which is the Woody Allen flick with Mia Farrow and Diane Wiest. And then into this, Can't Buy Me Love, My Stepmother's an Alien in '88, Pump Up the Volume. Have you guys seen Pump Up the Volume?
Is that Christian Slater?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a Morgs.
And Amanda Mathis.
He invents podcasting, doesn't he? And Pump Up the Volume.
Yeah, he does actually. But I think, Morgs, you hide that on my video card. I've got no doubt.
You blew up for years. You reckon that you owed cash to Civic Video and DY.
I still do. I got a letter last week.
Did Nick Somerville have to squash those?
Nick Somerville squashed a lot of my late fees.
A
lot of my late fees. Yeah.
But then he was obviously Austin Powers in '97 as Scott Evil and the spin-off movies. He was in Can't Hardly Wait. He was Kenny Fisher.
Yeah.
The really dorky.
He plays the dork.
Yeah.
I tell you, one of his great roles where he plays himself in Entourage.
Yes,
and he's got the thing with Sloane where he doesn't know whether he's plowed Sloane or not, and they have that.
That's right.
Thing for seasons. He's such a dick.
Yes.
Yeah.
But look, he was also he was in the Vampire Slayer, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
He did about 40 episodes of that as
plays
Oz.
Willow's. Yeah, he plays Willow's boyfriend. He's a werewolf.
Yep. He's in America's Sweethearts with Julia Roberts and John Cusack in 2001.
Yep.
The Italian Job in 2003, and then he's done heaps of TV cameos and voice work.
Yeah.
Most notably, he's won some awards for Robot Chicken.
Yep.
He's done Hulk and the Agents of Smash, and he actually voices Chris Griffin on the Family
Guy. Yeah.
So and the latest one he's in is one that should come out is Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
So
he's in that. Yeah.
The one with
he's a radio
Harry
DJ.
Potter. One with Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe. That's it. Anyone else, Gal? You want to talk about?
Oh, look, the only other one I've got there is Dennis Dugan. Now, I only bring him up because Dennis Dugan had a career as a movie star and then directed a whole heap of movies, all Adam Sandler movies.
Dukes.
But let's go. So he was in
he directed Happy Gilmore.
Yep. So the first movie was The Howling in '81.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, he was Chris in The Howling. Then he was Can't Buy Me Love '87, Parenthood '89. But in all these movies, so I'm going to go through all these Adam Sandler movies, but in all these he was director. He's also played parts.
He also stars in it, yeah.
He's got parts in all of them.
Yep.
So in Happy Gilmore, he was Doug Thompson, who's the PGA director.
The PGA director, yeah, yep.
Get rid of him, Doug.
Yeah. Shooter. 5-iron, huh?
He was a trick-or-treater that comes to the door in Big Daddy. He directed Benchwarmers with Rob Schneider and David Spade.
That's a funny movie.
And he was the coach in that. I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry.
Terrible movie.
You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Terrible movie.
Grown Ups.
I don't mind grown
Don't
ups.
mind
They're fun to
grown-ups,
watch with the
yeah.
kids.
He was the referee in that at the basketball game. Jack and Jill, never seen.
Terrible.
Assume terrible.
One of the worst movies ever made.
I'm just assuming because.
Ever made.
And he was also directed That's My Boy with Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg, yeah. That's not great either.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so look, that's the only other one we'll bring up. The rest of them,
Yeah,
no
the rest-
one really notable that went on to do anything. Or that's sort of that
There
we're
is
gonna know.
the one that Max Perlich, the guy who's one of the nerdy blokes who was in Cliffhanger, plays one of the Gabe, and then jumps and gets shot off the cliff.
Yeah, he played Lester in the movie. He's one of the two.
Yeah, one of the nerds, one of the nerd herds.
One of two Chips and Dork guys.
Yeah.
Dork and Chips.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and no one else except for Big John. He's the big blonde guy.
Oh yeah.
that
He's
farts on everyone.
the catcher from Major League 2.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's been in quite a few.
He's in
he's another
Starship
jobber.
Troopers. He gets
Yeah.
his head blown off in Starship
he does.
Troopers.
He does.
He's a
He was
jobber.
in that 80s war series. It was a TV show. Can't think of it.
Tour of Duty.
Yes, Tour of Duty. He was in. He did a heap of Tour of Duty episodes. Yeah. But yeah. So anyway,
All right, well done. I think that's enough of the cast. Now,
That's
look,
it.
we have done 87 to death, but so we're not going to go through a heap of the movies because we did it last week and probably 2 weeks before that. What about the budget and the box office?
Just going to get to that. So this is really interesting. This movie grossed $31.6 million. Doesn't sound like a heap, and it was a $4.7 million on its opening weekend.
Yep.
But it was a slow hit because it was a $1.8 million budget.
Amazing.
So it was a tiny. I don't know how they get all those people for that money.
Do you know how they did? Because this wasn't done through the unions.
Well, no, it
right?
wasn't.
So they would have paid them fuck all.
Well, it was going to be done as an indie flick originally, and then they changed the script because it was going to be a bit more violent and a bit more going on. But we'll get to that later because of the storyline.
Yeah.
But then they changed it back to a PG-13.
Yeah.
To get the young women,
Yes.
to like, because it was going to be quite a different story. But this came in at number 39 for that year in money wise, so 31.6 million. Can't buy me love on a 1.8 million
Pretty good.
budget. So.
Pretty good.
But we don't need to go through the movies. We know that Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, we're not going through them again.
We know that that's Whitey's favourite song.
Well,
I've got a question first before we move on from 87. So one of the things that struck me in this and in a lot of teen high school movies is that it's pretty one dimensional. The groups that they have, you've got your jocks, cools, and you've got your nerds, right? And I'd say at Tucson High or wherever the fuck Ronald Miller and his cohorts go, it seemed a bit one-dimensional, which got me thinking a bit more about Chroma High, which was
Yes.
a little more nuanced. So if you look at, say, the three of us, right, we had a plethora of interests, from fighting for the rights of the student body on the Student Representative Council to rock, mashing up contemporary dance and handmade costumes in Rocker Stedford, to musical theatre in Little Shop of Horrors, where we all starred, and later on in The Sound of Music, where Whitey starred, to sport with surfing and rugby and cricket and basketball and baseball. And I was a rock star. Whitey, you were a 4-part harmony vocalist and poet. It's very hard to categorise us as nerds, even though we had some nerdy interests. And Gal, you're a bit of a foodie. I remember you took the humble sausage roll and put it into another bread roll and doused it with tomato sauce for morning tea, and then you followed that up with a fur burger and cheese for lunch, and then you banged a few hot birds like Ronald Miller in his prime.
Didn't have to pay him though.
No cash.
But he was just hot gal in his prime. Which, yeah, I mean, what do you call us? Like, were we nerds? I don't know.
Well,
Like,
it's quite funny because I posed this in the questions that I don't recall it being so segregated at Chroma High School, where it was like jocks. I think we were. What do they call them in baseball? You're like a five-tool player. I think we were 5-tool players. I think we covered all the bases. And look, I collect toys now and Star Wars figures, so I got some nerd in me. Don't worry about that. I got some nerd in me.
Gow is a video game whore. Like, I was talking to Em Head about this on the weekend because Em Head had his rifle out and he was going, "Oh, you just do it like this, Morgs," and he showed me how to do it. And I was going, "That's not fucking fun. It's like watching Gow play video games back in the day. Oh, just let me do this section." It's like, fuck, mate, that's fucking shit. I want to play. So Gow was a massive games nerd as well, but he was hard to categorise because he was so hot and banged so many hot birds. So I don't know.
I'll tell you what, on that segue, what about when they go to the game to the video game center.
Oh,
and Rygar's in the
It's the
background.
best.
The
I've-
all-time greatest game.
I've got it in
Rygar.
good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I did enjoy all of those games there, but Rygar definitely reminded me of you, Gow.
All right, let's move into question time because we've done 1987 to death. So I just want to confirm Bobby's allegation. Is what Cindy did prostitution? Would you class it as that?
No.
She didn't sleep with him.
No, she didn't sleep with him. Thought he was harsh. He didn't even hear her out.
Well, he's got to be in the bad. He was a terrible actor. Terrible scene.
He is almost in a movie full of bad parts.
Yeah.
He could be the worst part of this
Yeah.
movie.
I was just watching going, oh, what is this?
His-
What are they? This? No wonder the budget was 1.8.
His hair was straightened. He'd had the Ella Bache hair straightener through his hair. It was shit.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we've talked about the high school segregation. I don't recall it being that way, where you essentially got bashed if you moved out of your quadrant.
No.
That's and I'm going to get to that. It's a massive American cliche.
Absolutely.
This movie hits every single one.
Yeah. Okay. So then, in any transformation movie, and Morgs, you're probably the best person to talk about this. You've had a few transformations in your life.
Well, I'm like a chameleon, and
You're
yeah,
a chameleon. You become a chameleon. So why is it whenever people change in movies, they become absolute cockheads? It's every movie. And he talks about, it's like, be who you are and be me, but they just become dicks.
This is what I was saying. It's this movie hits every single cliche of movies, of American movies of all time. From the point where he starts reading out the poetry that she overhears from the door into another girl,
that's
like
bad.
all this stuff. To the, I don't know if I should get out now. To the point at the end where he has a monologue in the school and everyone starts clapping him.
Oh, yeah.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
God!
It is so bad. So bad.
I remember you standing up on a chair in the quad, Gow, and you were prophesizing about something, or maybe bullies, and the whole student body just got together and slow clapped you. I remember that. And then Sean Monahan filled a water pistol full of piss and sprayed it all over you.
Your long-term memory.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's actually improved. Like, it just makes stuff up now.
Well, this is it. You can have 20/20 memory if you make everything up.
Yeah,
right?
This is the thing, because Moore can't remember what he did 5 minutes ago, and I think now his brain just makes shit up.
Yeah. My father-in-law's the same. He'll tell stories that are just blatant lies. I hope you're listening to this, Bobby. Love you to death.
On the back of that, I've just got 2 points to make. So when Ronald Patrick Dempsey turns into a fuckwit and he's at school, not a cool fuckwit like all of us, film school for fuckwits, no, like an actual fuckwit. He's running his get up with the purple jacket and he's got the black sort of pants on, but his shoes, he's running the black shoes with the pointy toe and the fucked up bronze bit on the front.
Yeah.
I ran to about 5 formals, I reckon.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I definitely struggled.
Morgs, there is a lot of Ronald Miller in your fashion. Pith helmets, berets.
Yeah. I definitely went through a Ronald Miller phase. One last question, Gal, for you.
Yep, we go.
The only other, we could literally do an entire podcast on Ronald Miller, but did you always know when Hot Birds wanted to root you?
Well, let's get to the next question because this is a segue perfectly.
What the hell?
This is perfect. So if Ronald/Gow was so in love with Cindy, how didn't he realise in the car that she was up for it? And how come he's so keen to dissolve the relationship? Like, they've gone from 0 to hero in 4 weeks. Surely he's going, this is going pretty good. This is better than I anticipated. And next thing he's like, yeah, let's end it. It's all over.
I thought about that. And then I think he was so into his own popularity becoming so good that he's just like, yep. And he wasn't even thinking about that anymore because he didn't really ever make a play at her.
No, he didn't. But
he just thought this is the only way to get popular, right? And then he was like, cool, now let's end it and make a big story.
But do you think he's going to get the girl by rooting her best friends? Do you know what I mean? Like,
he seemed to think it seemed to be working for him.
Yeah, it did work in the end. Yeah. He got everyone.
He even got is that other girl, the one that takes
Iris.
him to Iris. She takes down 3 other blokes.
Yeah, she loves
different
it.
Scenes. Yeah,
she loves it.
She loves it.
Yeah, she loves it.
She's a goer.
Yeah, she is a goer. All right, now look, we have mentioned a lot of this already, but now we're going to move into the categories with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we'll start with you, Dan, with good. What do you got, mate?
I had two goods for this. I think Patrick Dempsey would give him arseholes because of the character, but I think as playing the angsty teenager to this script, he does it well. So he definitely has an arc. We do feel a bit of an emotion for him. Like he's not a very bright character in realizing that Cindy may want to have a special lie down with him, but he does come good at the end, and I think that. Especially seeing it back when we were kids, we didn't know any better. Like it was like, oh, fucking America, they're so open and forthright, and they don't take the piss out of you like you would be stoned to death in Australia if you did that. So, yeah, look, I think he does it pretty well. But I think Amanda Peterson is probably the real star of the movie in this. So at 15, she holds her own incredibly. So it makes Cindy Mancini likable. Which, if you think about the trope of the head cheerleader in many, many, many movies, they can be assholes, and I think that she transcends that really well. I think, Gow, they needed you on the script team to write her poetry. That was absolute caca that she came out with that Patrick Dempsey was licking her out about.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Mate, it was no kaleidoscope of colours.
No way.
Nah. But she makes a bit of an archetypal, stereotypical role, personal, and it's such a shame. I would have liked to seen her go on to amazing things because she really lights up the screen. But that's really it. Patrick Dempsey and Amanda Peterson.
What about you, G-Man?
Well, we've already covered mine. I had Ronald Miller's 87 Do, reminds me of Morgs. His pith helmet running into the beret. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome fashion. The only other one I liked, the other fashion was Big John. Big John ran the baby pink shirt.
Oh, my God.
I know, and he had the pink belt. He had the pink belt.
Yeah.
But he also, when he went to the formal, he had the pink
he was matching.
bow tie on.
He was matching.
He wore pink throughout the whole movie.
He loved
it. Courtney! You got the mushroom vest? You got the mushroom shirt? He was a bad farter. Like he was known as this legendary farter, but
I never heard it. I never heard anything.
Gow,
they cut
Gow
the sound
is the
out.
true legendary farter. Let us just say out there, fellow F-wits. So Matthew Gowan is a force.
He's world renowned.
Absolutely world renowned. But because he's there, like he'll do a 3-octave fart and giggle. That'll go for 11 seconds. So Big John, he's just doing silent but deadlies. Who fucking cares? What's funny about a silent fart?
Well, the funny bit was that poor old Chucky Miller was copped on the end of it both times. That was the thing. He was hanging out the window.
Yeah. See, I've got that as the only time that I laughed out loud was when he farted out the window onto Chucky Miller and he fucking fell over. It's the only time I laughed audibly.
He says he goes,
it was more audible than he farts.
Big John goes, Big John's got class. And,
my God.
And then farts out the window.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, I've had to dig deep for some goods. I've got the theme song. Right. That's the best part of the whole movie. Right. Thanks, Beatles. Thank you. You brought something to the movie. But I think we've completely glossed over Ronnie's dad's jukebox in the lounge room. That was fucking sick.
Yeah, Ronnie's dad's like a bit of a sick cunt. Like he's not revered at the time, and they give him arseholes about his car. His car is sick, and it's way cooler than all the other vehicles and stuff in there. Yeah, like I think he's maligned. Unfortunately, I think that
if he didn't run tic tac tiles down the side of it, would have been a.
But even that was kitschy, like it was cool.
Yeah.
So no,
looked like a bit like Vera Morgs.
But what about
it? Did look a lot like Vera. So if it's when Gow and I were on our travels over, we travelled together to Canada many moons ago, and we bought a $500 vehicle this time, station wagon. It was named Vera, and it was very similar to that which Chucky's dad drives. And we used to drive along. We went through Hope in BC, and that's where we went looking for Rambo, and we did some amazing adventures. But there was one problem. I would lie down in the back of it and try and have a power snooze. When we're on big long trips, which you think that's fine. Like if the guy's tired, like he's living a big life, he's a ski instructor, he's knocking off a few of the locals. He's living quite the life over here. He's reinvented himself as Gow's like hot
Morgs
mate.
2.6.
Yeah. Anyway, but I would try and catch up on my time on these massive commutes, and I would get done for doing power snoozes, for getting winks, and I would have to buy a jug, and I just wasn't having it. So yeah, it's a bit of a never-ending story.
You were charged with buying a jug. Well, I don't know how many jugs we got. Look, but this was right. Sorry, this was right in the middle of Morgs' beret wearing. He was overseas. No one knew him, so he ran a beret.
Yeah,
mate. Then he dyed his hair blonde. I don't know. It's
I look.
it still triggers me.
It's the dyed
You
hair.
didn't talk to
the
me for like 3 weeks.
It's still it's triggering.
Yeah,
Sorry.
The dyed blonde hair does me. Look, and I'm going to allow this week. I'll allow the Canada chat because we did break into the Canadian film charts for Apple Podcasts. So we broke in this, and I think it's got something to do with your guys' travel. But the feedback was just keep it fucking tight when we talk about this shit, right? So
Can I just opine that there'd be a few hot birds that are getting on a bit these days that have downloaded it to hear the dulcet tones of M. Gowan. I'll just leave it at that.
Just easy there, Tiger. I'm pretty sure.
just between you and me, G-Man, did any of your conquests, did any of them go to bat for the other team after you sort of hooked up with them?
No, not mine.
Right, okay.
Let's move
Anyway,
along.
moving on. So I've got a couple more goods. I've got best dance band of all time.
Yes.
They are really good.
Excellent. Yeah,
They
it's
were really good. And not enough time was given to them.
That's
it's
a trope for
Yeah,
all teen movies when they have the dance. But they were excellent. Yeah, very good.
Best
call.
dance band of all, and not enough time was given to them, right?
No.
They were underdone. I've got the arcade. We've already spoken about that. Rygar, my favourite arcade game of all time, 1942 and Enduro Racer, have got front and centre. And then, how can we forget French Kissing in the USA?
Yes.
What a track.
What a great track.
Was changed by myself and the King Brown and promiscuous DICK to a fucking in the USA. And we would sing that quite a bit on the golf course.
That song was written by Chuck Lorre.
Oh, it was. Yeah. He invented all the big sitcoms like
Oh, really?
The one with Charlie
Two and a Half
Sheen,
Men.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, he did it. He's done tons of them. But yeah, he wrote that song.
Okay, let's move into the bad. We'll start with you, G-Man. Hit me.
We've already covered most of mine because I went up early, but the bad is this: it's every 80s cliche of a movie you could possibly ask for.
And then some.
They're all in here,
But
every single one.
Can I say in its defense, they invent a lot
They
of
invent
them.
them.
Yeah.
They
So
invent them.
whilst it is, and that's why if you guys haven't seen this movie, you've seen this movie reproduced in so
Absolutely.
many other films. So probably a little unfair to call them out on that. But yes, it certainly hits every trope imaginable.
Hits everyone.
For a teen flick.
Bobby, terrible actor, got him already. The final speech, it's like a modern day meme, and then everyone clapped. You know, that's bad. But the one that I got that we haven't talked about is when they go to egg Kenneth's house.
Yep.
They all turn up in the world's biggest bright orange van, park it across the street.
Across the street.
Then they call Ronnie by name, going, "Go, Ronnie, go," and throw the shit on the door.
Yeah.
And then he gets caught. And they're going, "We're going to catch one of these guys tonight." When the van's parked across the road with its number plate, it's just such a bad scene.
Yeah, it's shit.
Such a bad scene.
I thought this may have been where you found your lifelong love for Bedford vans because this
No, I love the
sunburn
van. The
orange
van's
jewel
awesome.
tone. Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
You,
No.
You've been a massive Bedford guy for all our lives.
No, I love that van. That van is awesome.
Yeah, the van's cool. Very cool.
I saw a Bedford van down the road the other day here locally.
It's always such. They look
so
so
good.
sick from the outside, but you get inside and they
Yeah.
are just they're
They're
rudimentary.
They
are. That's the problem.
She a great big fat girl. What about you, Dan?
Look,
Gau's still going.
I got one more bad.
Go for it.
Who picked this movie? They're bad. That's bad.
And on that segue, Morgs, what have you got for bad?
I just had the whole script. Like it's in watching it again. I don't know if we've just been we expect too much of similar genre films these days, but they're a lot snappier. There's a lot more comedy. There were just so many on the nose moments with this script where it was just like, oh, really? That's what you think these people would say to each other at this time? So yeah, that was disappointing, but I think more to do with a snapshot of that particular film in 1987 versus what we would get to now. And I actually look at some films in film school for F-Wits this week. It's actually 11. I could only narrow it down to 11 teen high school flicks that you should watch infinitely more than Can't Buy Me Love. So we'll check that out in film school for F-Wits.
Okay. So I've got a few. I've got cheerleading. I fucking hate it. I hate that
Cindy wasn't much of a cheerleader. The rest of them
She
could
wasn't.
go a bit. Yeah.
Well, she dances for 10 seconds and then she's just counting and she can't even fucking count.
No.
She can't even do the 4 count properly, right?
Damo would be very unimpressed with this.
She wouldn't make the Barrack Dads dance crew, that's for sure.
No way.
She's got all the Wesley in her.
Yeah. We've mentioned berets and dump rags. There's the creepiness on the girls in this movie, and we're going to get to a serious one in Ugly, but him looking at her through the chainmail fence is wrong. I said all the boys look 30. Like the boys look way too old.
Of course they do.
Crippling credit card debt. Cindy must have tens of thousands of dollars on her mum's credit card, right? And how a single mum can survive, whether her husband who left or died was a zillionaire, I don't understand it. But she's got 3 credit cards that she's prancing around the mall with.
That's what you did in those days. You had your Diners Club.
For sure. And it didn't matter because it was so you could be out of credit and didn't matter.
But her mum had that bloke.
Leave him.
He was full of cash.
Leave Rock. Rock's coming. Cindy's date to the dance in his tassel jacket, the college boy.
In his Porsche.
Porsche. What a loser.
It reminded me a bit of M. Ray and the anal probe.
Absolutely.
I don't know why,
he loved the anal.
We all love the anal. Shout out to M. Ray, but I don't know. I pictured M. Ray, who is a very handsome man as well, turning up, going back, maybe seeing a chick that's still in high school as he's off at Sydney Uni, doing his finance course, and just turning up in the anal probe as the big guy on campus. I don't know. It just got me thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Better than that than the dog cock red Lexan that he had the car before.
DCR?
Nobody likes the DCR.
No, the DCR needs to be given a wide berth. Look, I had Bobby as well, so we'll move on. Ugly. Now, I'm going to start with Ugly because, Gow, you've got me. Mum's boyfriend, Rock, could be the creepiest ever character in the history of cinema. It was awful.
Really creepy.
It was awful.
Terrible. An 87 American cliche.
The director certainly didn't leave much to the imagination too when it has 15-year-old Cindy doing up her white shirt with a bikini on underneath for Rock to just lick his lips to. It was pretty awful.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty bad.
God, it was bad. I also had crop tops for men. Hate them. There's so many crop tops.
What about Jerry Maguire with the Kush when he runs that on the training pitch?
Yeah. But he's training. These guys are walking around school with crop tops on.
I get it, but it wouldn't have done anything more for his training than it would have done for these guys.
No, of course.
But isn't that what they do? They use those as training shirts because the NFL type shirts they always crop them off. They seem to. That's a fashion.
Did anyone else notice in Betty Donnan's home economics class that the Hispanic guy's got no shirt on, just his apron? So he doesn't have a shirt on. He's just got his apron on. And I'm like, and even like Isabel goes, is there no dress code at this school? He doesn't have a shirt on. If a 9-year-old picks it up, I'm like, do what they want. I got to say, her best friends are 2 of the worst human beings on planet Earth.
Yes.
2 of the worst human beings on planet Earth.
I like the tall one's headband, the yellow piece where it's got the little bits dangling down. I thought that was pretty hot.
But what about the other one who had the lipstick on her cheek? Like it was like she had a band in and stuff in her hair.
It's a snapshot in time. Like I can remember going down to Ringham Mall and seeing those birds exactly like that all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And then I just had the clap. The clap did me.
When
they clapped, it was almost, I know there wasn't much left in the movie. I nearly turned it off. I was like, please.
It was so bad.
Yeah, I'm like.
Such a bad scene.
Oh, God. It made a shit movie worse. Yeah. What about you, Gary? Anything for Ugly?
No, we've hit everything.
Yeah.
The whole movie's ugly. But anyway.
What about you, Dan? Anything for Ugly?
I had the same. I had Rock, the filthy pedo, and
God.
I also wanted to touch on the casting agents again. Like this, I don't know if it set a precedent where every other casting agent thought that teenagers look like 30-year-olds because it didn't look like anyone was actually cast remotely near their age for 17, 18, whatever it was. Certainly all of Cindy's friends were misaligned with her age. So,
and I get that. But I think back, because I watched this, as we said a few times, and I don't remember, and maybe it's because you're young, you don't think about their age because you just don't really It wasn't until I knew their ages and looked back and went, God, yeah, they look out of place. But
Well, they can't do half the stuff that they do if they're the real age that they are.
yeah,
So they've got to be 30 so they can root in the
Yeah.
bathroom.
yeah.
Right? Anyway. All right. I think that'll do. Let's move on to Morgs's Quick Fire. What do you got, Dan?
Yes, which we'll get into this very quick this week. So, quick fire, that's not a knife for a scene from the movie a la Crocodile Dundee, Mick Dundee. That's not a knife that has passed over into popular culture. I'm going to say absolutely zero.
I think the movie itself has created this sort of movie. There's been 100 transformation movies. It's almost, as you said, it's created a lot of the
Yeah, I
tropes.
don't know if this was the first one though. There's
No, it's
quite
not,
a
but
few
it's-
movies before that.
But the whole
16
ugly
Candles, there's quite a
duckling,
few.
the transformation, that all that
Yeah.
shit. It's definitely became a well trodden path. But no, I'm with you, Waddy. You're right. It was definitely a torchbearer for a lot of the tropes that we've seen over the next
Still
20,
shit,
30
though.
years. Philip Stuckey in Pretty Woman for the biggest douchebag character. I mean, Rock, fairly
Yeah, I got
horrendous.
Rock.
Yeah,
Rock's really bad.
What about Quint?
Quint's not good.
The guy who throws the wine on her and then he just thinks he's the man. The guy at the end who's tries
yeah,
to bash
and that's his
the redheaded guy.
Quinton's
Yeah.
in. Let the party begin.
Yeah,
character.
class.
yeah,
It's terrible.
I'll accept either of those. The cast of Caddyshack for an actor or actors that aren't quite sure what movie they're in. Seth Green is on a completely different plane to everyone else in this movie.
He is, isn't he?
He's,
Yes.
yeah. As a 12-year-old, he's created a very unique character that is just tonally so off with everyone else in the movie. So he's funny, but his lines would have been funny if he didn't affect the character that he chose. So very weird on the.
I don't know how he doesn't get bashed to death by his brother.
Yeah.
Like you bash him to death.
Yeah, he's copying it from his brother.
Seriously.
Although his brother is Ronnie Miller. So.
Yeah, but still, even Ronnie could take him out. Don't punch him in the teeth, though.
No, you take him out. I just don't think he does that kind of thing. He's Ronnie Miller.
Donald. Who's next? What's up next, Morgs?
Ripley running for our favourite Sigourney Weaver and her particularly poor show of athletic prowess in the Aliens franchise. In this movie, any particularly bad shows of athletic prowess? We talked about Amanda
Gow's got
Peterson
one.
as the cheerleader. Gow, you mentioned one before.
The anteater dance. The whole anteater dance is just terrible. Now, a quick fact about that, they actually brought Paula Abdul in as a choreographer.
Yeah, she
for
choreographed that, yeah.
because they were going to do it and they didn't want to be culturally insensitive and put something up there that was going to, offend people. So they brought her in to make a dance up, and then she made up the anteater dance to make it something that would not offend but still have the laugh part to it. But that was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
I didn't mind it. I don't.
He owned it.
Yeah, he did. He owned it, and it sort of. I guess all the people were caught up in the Ronnie Miller Renaissance, the reconnaissance. All right.
Right.
So
to me, it's as bad as like if everyone starts watching this guy have a fit on the stage, and then and 2 minutes later, everyone's doing the dance. It's like the clap scene. It's outrageous.
I'll accept it.
It's
outrageous.
It's outrageous.
Robot sentries, also from the movie Aliens, for an extra scene that you'd love that would explain a bit more about this movie. I don't know what else you wanted to know about this movie. Anything
Nothing.
that wasn't
Please.
revealed. Yeah.
Make it 84 minutes, please.
Okay.
It's a fairly simple plot, straightforward.
God.
So it doesn't need too much. You don't need too much backstory to it.
Yeah.
No, I would have liked to have known how Ronald got his ride on mower. If his oldies bought that and if he had to lease it from them, or if he was just making total freight. Like I was interested in the economics of his lawnmower business because 35 cents a mile did seem.
You can have that.
Yeah, that wasn't
$4.
quite.
What was he making? $4.64 an hour, or $4.64 a lawn, whatever he said.
No, I thought it was 35 cents a mile, and he did over 1,000 miles. So
Then he said something about $4. I can't remember.
Why
Why
do
do
you
you
think
be
about
the
a
expert here?
mile of mowing like that? He was getting ripped. But yeah, if we go back to Narboogan, the former
Mate, it's just
business,
one more. He never said one more.
Whitey, are you going to run us through his technique of cutting here? How bad was it?
He was
it
bad.
Bad cutter.
He kept turning the mower on and off.
Yeah.
Mistake one.
It's really odd that.
Yeah, it's you keep it running.
Then remember that stage he turns it off, then turns it back on and goes, say sorry to your mum because he turned it on at 6 a.m, but
Yeah.
then turned it back on.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah, it was bad.
Ronnie's an idiot. No matter how many funky berets he wears, he's an idiot.
Oh, look, I think it's all forgiven when he runs that Stetson at the end, though, the black one.
Oh, God, you would have got blood. You
That's
had half a bar watching that.
I definitely had a stiffy. So
Thought he was John Travolta from Urban Cowboy.
He was riding his steel horse on the way home with his hat on.
He's a cowboy.
On a steel moor I ride.
And I'm wanted. Excellent. Whitey's Brad Pitt for actor in there that you would like to do what Gow does and root hot birds. Anyone that really jumped out?
What's with you?
Yeah, the bird at the bikini, yellow bikini at the pool that's talking to the midriff shirt. And there's also, is it Tara or whatever is in the brown sort of suit at the front? There's a few good sorts in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And the friend that says you haven't seen any like these, have you? Well, I do have cable.
That was what's her name?
Iris.
Oh,
no, it wasn't Iris. It was one of the best friends.
Oh,
when they're in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, my parents do have cable.
Yeah, my parents do have cable.
I think that this. I mean, it's obviously marketed a lot at teen girls. This film, and I think they probably got a bit ripped, as a lot of the dudes were certainly no young Matt Gowans, and the Patrick Dempsey didn't become McDreamy for another 30 years. So yeah, I tend to agree. It was probably the females that were more rootable as a viewer. So yeah. Anyway,
Definitely.
That was quickfire.
Okay, well done. We'll slide into listen to this, and we'll talk about some of the trivia and rumors behind the production. Gow, you want to lead us away?
Yeah, I do. There was an original title to this movie.
It's amazing.
Morgs, what do you reckon the original title of this movie was?
I have no idea, but it can't buy me love. I actually don't mind it as a title, Can't Buy Me Love, but yeah.
The producer had to come out with Can't Buy Me Love because the original title of this movie was going to be Boy Rents Girl. And that's not a joke.
That was written by the poet that wrote the poetry for Cindy.
But then the director and the producers went, "Oh, it sounds a little sexist."
Oh, do you think?
Then one of the female producers actually went, "Yeah, this is not good. Like, we can't do this." And that's why I said before it got turned around, because it was going to be much more blokey and have a lot more edgy stuff in it and be a bit an older audience. And then they turned it around to a PG because they thought we won't get the people in this. And it was actually the former Disney CEO who suggested "Can't Buy Me Love" being the title.
I think he did well.
It's a good title.
It's a way better title than
the title is by far and away the best part of the movie.
Excellent.
Yes.
Look, the other one I had was that Paul Abdul choreographed the dance scene. We've been through that, and just quietly, "Can't Buy Me Love" obviously was a hit for the Beatles, but by 1987 it was owned by Michael Jackson. He bought the rights.
He bought the whole category.
He bought the back
catalog.
catalog.
Whole catalog.
Yeah. So they had to pay Michael Jackson $100,000 to use this in the movie. It's a fair whack of the budget.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's
So,
nearly 20% of the budget.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's me.
Nice.
Well done. Okay. Look, does anyone notice that when Ronnie, the creep, goes into the ladies' bathroom, when the teacher comes out, she doesn't wash her hands and just grabs his ear and just walks out? Wrong.
Rank.
That's child abuse. That's child
What
abuse.
was the teacher doing? Taking a dump in the kids' shitters as
Yeah,
well.
you got your own shitter.
Yeah,
Darling,
that's
move
wrong.
on. She had that old granny shit too. That'd be terrible.
But how could they make the trope if they did that? Like, it was obviously as soon as he walked in there and put his ear up and started fingering the door, that it wasn't going to be her in the toilet.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Look, Patrick Dempsey is an avid car collector and used his money to buy his first car, which, funnily enough, was a Porsche, not unlike the one seen in the film, minus the chocolate thick shake that wasn't that thick.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was a milkshake.
That was a fair gripe, that.
He had a fair gripe.
Fair gripe.
Definite fair gripe.
He was an asshole, but like it wasn't a thick milkshake.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, not much else. Not much else about this movie. I think the sooner this podcast is over, the better, to be honest. Anything else, G-Man?
No, let's move on.
Okay, 1 degree. Does anyone have a 1 degree of Kurt Russell?
Oh, gosh.
I do.
Okay, hit us with it.
Okay.
Is this 1 degree or 1.5 degrees?
No, it's 1 degree. So, Seth Green plays the voice of Howard the Duck in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
True dat.
And Kurt Russell is in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
There you go. He does too.
Seth
well done.
Green.
Seth Green plays the voice of Howard the Duck in all of those movies, right?
Yeah. So,
Anything
there we
for
go.
Quigley down under?
No Quigley. No,
Got no Quigley
no.
out of this.
There was no Quigs.
Not that I could find.
No. All right. What about we move on to quotables? And G-Man?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Yeah.
It'll be the same ones you have.
Yep.
Chucky Miller, when his brother says he's going to play cards with his mates.
Oh my God.
Who could beat a night of cards, chips, dips, and dorks? It was great.
He did deliver that well. That was
Yeah.
he gets
was
some good lines for sure. It's just his character that's fucking weird.
Yeah, he's odd.
The other one I got is the camera shop guy when he's talking to the camera shop guy about buying the new telescope,
Oh, right.
and he says to him, "Oh, you see, it gives you an erect image instead of upside down." And then he spots Cindy in the crowd and goes, "Oh, yeah, I see the erection."
He's wrong. He's wrong. What about at the dance? Look, it's a nerd herd.
Yes.
And they just go and sit back down.
They all just
That was wrong.
take a step back.
That was wrong. And I got one, and this is Quint. It made me just shake my head at how poor I am at him. Quint, I've learned to appreciate the finer things in life. I even travel with my own wine. You know, the quality you may encounter at a soiree. And he's holding the wine and drinking it out of the bottle. And he smells it, and then she goes, very classy. And he goes, I'm into class. It's my new thing. My fucking hell, Quint. What
It's one I said before, like, Quentin is in, let the fun begin when the party starts. And Big John just looks and goes, "You're such an asshole."
He's an asshole.
I got one more. It was funny at the end when Ronnie was ostracized and he's sitting on his own under the tree, like in the garden. Oh, actually, no, sorry. It's when he's sitting at the table. He sits on his own. And everyone gets up and moves away from him.
Yeah,
like he's a leper. The transfer girl stands next to him.
It's funny.
And says, "Didn't you take economics? You could have had me for $49.95." That was good.
She looks about 10 feet tall too. That's a good bang for your buck, that one. All right. Now. Film school for F-wits.
Yes, fellow F-wits. I mentioned earlier on that this film may have been have pushed a little bit of heightened nostalgia into my frontal lobe when thinking about how we enjoyed it back as 12, 13, 14-year-olds. But I don't want it to malign the teen high school film experience, because there are a lot of films that are infinitely better than Can't Buy Me Love. And I've just chosen my favourite 11, which I'll go through very quickly or be here all night. Now, no particular order, but just movies that I've enjoyed from recently to many years ago. So we won't dive into them too much other than to ask if you guys have seen them. So the first one is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl from 2015. So did you guys see that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Thomas Mann, Olivia Cook, Nick Offerman's in it as well. Great flick, absolutely great. It's an awkward senior guy and a super gravely ill classmate become friends. Pretty simple premise, but it's a really sweet, enjoyable movie. Nice for a date night if you like, but definitely worth a look and certainly a bit more gravitas than Can't Buy Me Love. Gao, you seen that one?
Please.
Here's one you would have seen, Gao. Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. Cracker.
From 2004. What a great flick. Like, I revisit this at least. Sorry. I'll do that again. Sorry. Oh, another one from 2004. Friday Night Lights. Yeah, you definitely would have seen this one.
100%. This is a great movie.
Look, Billy Bob Thornton, directed by Peter Berg. Lucas Black's in there as the quarterback. What a great flick. I would revisit this every year for sure. And on YouTube, I watch the Dallas and the final game basically where they play the huge team, and they've got that Refuse song, New Noise, as they enter the stadium. And I literally will watch that on YouTube more often than I should be. So. Absolutely awesome flick and one that I would thoroughly recommend to everyone. Whitey, you would have loved watching that.
Absolutely. It's a good movie.
The third one you all would have seen. Don't know that it'll get made today, and it's only 15 years old, but Superbad with Michael Cera, Jonah Hill, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and Bill Hader and the other Jonah. yeah, wow. I think it's more of an authentic take on friendship, I guess, with all the shit that they give each other. But lots of tropes. But I think just takes what Can't Buy Me Love did, but just adds a way better script, way more
It's a
interesting
great movie.
characters, heap of comedy. Yeah, look, something you could watch today. Probably wouldn't get made today, but very, very similar tropes in some respects to Can't Buy Me Love, but just done a whole lot better. This one, I know we've spoken about very briefly, but Hoosiers from 1986.
Oh,
with,
great movie.
Yeah,
Crack of a movie.
Gene Hackman, probably the least likely love story or least believable love story.
Ugh.
Barbara Hershey and Gene Hackman definitely are in different films. Dennis Hopper has a good turn as the piss cat who comes good. But look, this is about basketball in rural Midwestern US from the 50s, I think it is. And just excellent performances and just another look at the high school experience. Election from 1999. So now,
great movie.
Alexander Payne.
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon, very young Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Matthew Broderick. Chris Klein's in there in a very funny role as well. The Osmeyer from the American Pie films. But if you haven't seen it, go and check this out. It's Matthew Broderick's a well-liked school teacher, and his nemesis is Reese Witherspoon's Tracy Flick, and very, very enjoyable film.
Doesn't his face blow up?
Yeah, like he gets stung by a bee.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a bloody funny film. Alexander Payne
very good.
Do Sideways and the one in Hawaii with George Clooney as well. Did some really good
Descendants.
films. Descendants.
Descendants is excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
No, Alexander Payne is brilliant. So that was his first film and just excellent. Another one back from only 2 years after Can't Buy Me Love, but infinitely better, with Heathers, with Winona Ryder, Christian Slater, Shannon Doherty's first role. It's Winona Ryder's part of a clique, and basically Christian Slater starts killing off anyone that she has beef with, and it's a fantastic movie and one that probably would worth be revisiting instead of Can't Buy Me Love. Number 7, another recent one, and I'll keep this quick so we can get through it. But did you guys see Booksmart? So Booksmart.
No, I didn't see Booksmart. No.
Olivia Wilde directed it, and it's
relatively new.
2019, coming of age comedy. Couple of super bright chicks who decide that all they've done is study their entire lives, so they're going to cut sick and go to parties. And really funny, and just some zingers in there. Really tight script, directed really well. Jason Sudeikis is in there as well. Thoroughly recommend, and just a different high school teen experience. This one, number 8, is very different to any that we've discussed, but one that is a must-watch out there for you if you haven't seen it. It's Hoop Dreams, the documentary from 1994.
Oh, wow.
Basically, it charts some African-American teenagers that go to an all-white school and they dream of NBA stardom. And it's actually shot over 5 years, and it's the social and physical obstacles that they face that are captured on film. Just an incredible, acclaimed documentary. And if you haven't seen it, just a very different view of the teen jock high school experience, and very sad, but amazing film. Number 9, one that will end up on this, so I won't go into too much, but a favourite of mine and Whitey's is Juno, with Ellen Page, again with Michael Cera, Jennifer Garner, Jason Bateman. We love the Bateman.
Love Bateman.
Jason Reitman directs, fucking funny as balls film. Another one that I would revisit every year, so definitely worth a look. Final 2, one that will be a solo podcast on this great podcast network one of these days. I, of course, refer to Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Cameron Crowe's semi-autobiographical movie about his life as a high school teenager. What a fucking ripping movie. Amazing turns from Sean Penn, Jennifer Jason Leigh, where she's actually excellent in this. Judge Reinhold, directed by Amy Heckerling. But if you haven't seen it, I don't know why, but please go and check it out this week. Just fantastic.
You forgot fantastic turn from Nicolas Cage in this movie. Man.
He is. He's Nicholas Coppola in this. He's credited.
He's Nicholas Coppola.
Changed his name after this because he wanted to get out of the shadow of his famous uncle. So but he's one of the...
that worked. Yeah. The only reason he got any fucking jobs is because he was a Coppola.
Sure it was. But look, finally, number 11, one that I've mentioned many times on this, Dazed and Confused from 1993. So Richard Linklater, Jason Lunder, Wiley Wiggins, who would win the Ripley Award in Quickfire for his pathetic attempts at baseball pitching. Sasha Jensen, Maury Cochran. Look, coming of age films don't get any better than this. This set off a whole swate of Hollywood actors that went on to amazing big things with Ben Affleck amongst it as O'Banion. But look at this 1976 in Austin. If you don't want to go back in time and get yourself a ute and live in Austin at the time of Dazed and Confused, then you're not living. So Matthew McConaughey, of course, comes out with his all right. And just an incredible film. That's 11. I could probably rate another 30 that you'd watch before Can't Buy Me Love, but let's leave it there.
Yeah, well done, Dan. A very elaborate film
I tried to stay away from the obvious ones, like all of the your Breakfast Clubs and everything that we would have seen. So I try to make it a little more quirky. But if you want to hit us up on the MySpace or the TikToks and suggest any that you guys think, I won't read it, but one of these guys will.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. I'm sure Strangles will be watching a couple of them this week and
get into
reporting back online. Look, okay, so now we move into a kick-ass credit songs, and I'm up on the mic, and I'm not going to tell you the title of the song because it'll give away, and you'll get it throughout the song. Now, this is one of the true sort of 2 to 3 minute sort of composings that I've done. Like, it was very quick, but we'll see how we go. Okay, not going to give you the title. You can figure it out at the end. Here we go. If I'll get Cindy to count me in. 1, 3, 8, 6. Donald or Ronald or Ronnie the nerd, they're all the same person. He's a bit of a turd. He's mowing the lawns to get cash for a living. He's gonna fuck up and he won't be forgiven. He pays the hot Cindy to be his girlfriend. He won't realize it's the beginning of the end. He thinks he is cool because he ripped off his sleeves. In the bathroom with Iris, she'll get on her knees. Cindy's best friends are fucking annoying. They'll sell that to share him. They're too busy whoring. 94 minutes was a pretty heavy act. It's called Can't Buy Me Love, but I can't buy that time back.
Very, very good.
Finally,
that was
fucking
awesome.
got there.
Yeah,
terrible. Anyway,
well done. Good song. Covered it all.
Yeah,
covered it all in there.
Covered all the big players.
Nice.
Iris on her knees.
Yeah, Iris copped it.
Oh, she certainly did.
She certainly copped it.
She was an easy conquest, apparently.
Different melody.
She was like
than your
Greyhound.
usual songs as well. You've definitely
I changed it up, which is why I fucked it so many times, or got it the first time as it seemed in the edit.
Seamless edit.
Seamless edit. Okay, look, star of the show, Gal. Let's start with you.
Oh, geez, I haven't even thought of this. Star of the show. Ought to go with this.
We do it every week.
I know, and I didn't think about it. Let's go with Patrick Dempsey.
Okay.
This started his ascension to stardom in the mid-90s or late 80s, mid-90s.
Yep.
Until he had a career break, but then came back. But this is where it all really, really got on the train for him. So he actually plays this role pretty well.
Yeah.
He's very believable. And this was one of the things, they didn't want someone that was well known for this role because no one would have believed it.
Yeah.
Because if it was someone famous, they go, well, he's not a dork, right? So they had to get someone that wasn't, so that
It was
they
a
could just
dork.
it wasn't known, so they couldn't, because otherwise they just didn't think that someone would be able to take that part and make it real. So that's why he got chosen for this. And I think he does really well. And he does change, that whole, not even just clothes, but the whole personality. So I'm going to give it to Patrick Dempsey.
Okay. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, Patrick Dempsey, I thought was very good in this film. I'm not going to give it to Amanda Peterson. I thought as a 15-year-old, to essentially carry this film. She did it incredibly well. Incredibly sad that we didn't see more of her later on, and she succumbed to substance issues. But in this film, I think she was brilliant.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dan. I'm going with Amanda Peterson. I think she did. She was a star in the making, and it was a shame whatever happened to her on the making of this movie that broke her. It's not right, and it is quite a disgrace that we didn't get to see more of her, and her life ended early. So RIP to Amanda Peterson, and but she gets my star of the show. Okay, so look, if you love this, we went through 11 movies. On the flip side, we got Gal's got a couple that weren't in there, or maybe one that wasn't in there. So what do you got for if you like?
I got one. Morgs would have covered this, I'm sure. 16 Candles.
Yeah.
Now, Morgs, were you going to cover that?
I left all the John Hughes ones, but yes, I can definitely I can see if it's a what else to watch from the era. Very similar time. I think it was maybe 86. 16 Candles.
Yeah, it was 86. But just this is the quick rundown of the movie. Samantha's life is going downhill fast. The 16-year-old has a crush on the most popular boy in school, and the geekiest boy in school has a crush on her. Her sister is getting married. With all the excitement, the rest of the family forgets her birthday. Add to this 2 sets of horrendously embarrassing grandparents, a foreign exchange student named Long Duck Dong. Name's Long Dong. And behold the makings of a hilarious journey into young womanhood. So there are a lot of the same tropes in that movie, and we don't need to go into detail because we'll just covered a heap. The other one I really wanted to add was, if you like this, you like Teen Wolf. You take away the wolf suit, and it's pretty much the same.
It's the same story. Very cool.
Pretty much the same movie.
Yeah.
But Michael J. Fox does a lot better job in Teen Wolf. It's a great movie that we like, but a lot of the same cliches in that movie, which was 2 years before.
Yep.
It was 85. That
85,
is 87. So that's what I think. It's a lot like that.
Okay, cool. What about you, Dan? What do you got?
Yeah, I left one off purposely just because I wanted everyone to go and watch it, from 2017, Lady Bird, with Saoirse Ronan and Laurie Metcalf, Timothy Chalamet, and Lucas Hedges, directed by Greta Gerwig. Excellent film. Go and watch it.
Yeah.
A way
Yeah,
better, more contemporary view of a high school experience for Lady Bird, which is Saoirse. I think it's Saoirse. That's how you pronounce it. Irish actor who is just
Saoirse.
She is fucking brilliant. And what's great is when you see her interviewed and she's got the thick Irish accent as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It disappears in the movies. She's just an absolute superstar, and it's just a brilliant film. So Strangles. If you're going to watch one of these, go and check out Lady Bird if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, hold on, Strangles, because I got a couple of crackers coming your way. I'm staying in the 80s. And for two, I've actually got three. I'm going to say American Pie, and I'm sure everyone's watched it, but it's a much better version of this movie, way better. But I'm going back to 1987. Let them say they're crazy. What do they know? You got to watch Mannequin, one of the greatest.
Baby.
But Mannequin, Kim Cattrall, Andrew McCarthy, the ugliest heartthrob in the 80s. It's great. This is one of my favorite movies in the 80s as a young man and young boy. Loved it. Watched it 1,000 times. I've actually revisited it just recently with Isabel. It's terrible, but this has got absolute nostalgia written all over it for me, and it'd be hard for me to say a bad word about it. The other one is a John Hughes movie, but not one of the standard John Hughes movies. It's Weird Science.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, it's obviously got Kelly LeBrock, Anthony Michael Hall, two nerds who effectively create this supermodel in a computer, and she comes to life, and they effectively get to bone Kelly LeBrock. And they're like 15.
Why don't people understand my intentions?
Yeah.
Weird science.
Yeah, and I started to watch this with Isabel, and Megan walked in and watched about 10 minutes and goes, turn this off. She can't watch this. But it's a cracker. It's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun.
Wasn't Kelly LeBrock married to Steven Seagal?
She did marry Steven Seagal. That's a whole podcast in and on itself.
Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
We could do a whole one on Sensei Seagal.
Oh, mate, absolutely. Absolutely.
What was your sensei's name, Gil?
Hey?
Mark Greville.
Sensei Mark Greville.
He was, what was he, Gil?
He was my Shidoshi.
Every time. Okay, let's move into the rank bank. This one's going to be interesting. I've got a few things here we can use, and I'm sure you guys have probably got something in here. I've got crop dusting linebackers. I've got ugly little brothers. I've got terrible transformations. I've got whorish best friends, and I've got dump rag berets. So, anything else you want to add in there?
I don't know about the dump rag beret. That's something that you've gotten, but I like it so much, I think I have to go with it.
Let's run with it then.
Okay, so G-Man, let's go with you first. How many dump rag berets are you giving this movie?
Well, we haven't seen this movie for a long time. Doesn't age that well. Not really something I'm going to watch again. It's going to be another 35 years before this gets a run, I'd say. It's going to get – the budget was 1.8. It's getting 1.8.
Wow. We can't do that. We're going to give it 1.75. Or you want to give it 2?
Our system can't cope.
No, the system can't cope. Actually, yes, it can. We'll give it 1.8. We'll give it 1.8.
No, we'll give it 1.5.
No, okay, 1.5. Okay,
oh.
1.5. Okay.
Just to make it easy.
Dan, how many dump rag berets are you giving this
Look,
movie, Can't Buy Me Love?
I think that this one, unfortunately, we can chalk up to height and nostalgia. It's probably like going and watching an episode of Degrassi Junior High as a 47-year-old man, or Secret Valley with the Buchanan kids, all on the ABC, or anything from our early high school years that we probably thought of very fondly at the time, but doesn't really stack up in 2023. So, look, it won't be the last time I watch it, because I started watching it with my daughter and she got interested, so I'll probably watch it one more time before I Marie Kondo that fucker. So I'm going to give it a 2, but only a 2 out of 5 for Can't Buy Me Love.
Okay, nice. I hated this movie. I'm so very happy that I've only seen it once. And because I am loath to give anything less than 1, I'm giving this a 1. This is bad in my eyes. I did not like it. I don't know why I thought I may have seen it before, but I hadn't.
Well, that's a good score, mate, because now the computer can handle this.
Now the computer can handle this.
Computer can handle this.
Have you opened the sheet on your computer? Have you?
Yes.
Look at you go! I saw you little. Okay, well, I don't need to put it up on the screen. You can fire away, Gal, and just tell me what it is.
Well, it hasn't added up for me here, Whitey.
Yeah, it has.
Where's your tank?
Yeah, it has. It should be there.
Yes, no, it has. All right, Can't Buy Me Love, very predictably with 1.5 dump rag berets.
Hang on, mate. I just need to just filter this for you. Didn't move.
Thanks for the filter. It's in at number 39, the bottom of our list. Above
nothing.
Well, no. Well, our list isn't. Our list isn't.
Did I not?
It's not in order, so we won't get into that.
No, well, I can do that.
Okay.
I thought I just changed it then. So look, it is below. It is well and truly last.
It's well and truly last.
So
I think Bloodsport was down there.
No, Roadhouse is second last
Roadhouse,
now, 2.17. Torn Larynxes. Bloodsport, 2.5 Kumites. Golden Child, 2.5 Ajanti Daggers. And Pretty Woman, 2.67 Thigh High FMBs. Round out the bottom 5.
Geez, Pretty Woman's a way better movie.
Oh, mate. All those movies above it.
Yeah.
And it's 1.5.
Yeah.
Like it's a 1.5 movie.
It's well below everything else.
It's well below everything else. All right. Well done. Let me just.
Hey, you can't fucking yell at us for trying something different. So there we go. We tried a bit of a chick flick, something that we thought was cool from a bit like us at the time, probably thought we were cool and we're not. Yeah, anyway.
And look, I don't think we should be discouraged by this. I think we got to step out of our comfort zone, and sometimes it's nice just to be able to shit all over a movie that might have some heightened nostalgia from the day, but I enjoyed that. I've enjoyed this process. So I think we do another shit movie in the near future and rip it to shreds. Okay, so what are we watching? Gal, we'll start with you.
A lot of sport on this week. Haven't watched a lot of shows, but I have been watching reruns of Brooklyn Nine-Nine again. Our whole family loves it.
Such a great show.
It is such a great show. And to the point our family loves it that my youngest son, Charlie, went to school. We found this out today, that in class there's another Charlie in his class. And his name's Charlie, but there's another Charlie in the class, so they had to put a different name on the book. So you know what he put his name as?
Boyle.
Charles Boyle. He put his name as Charles Boyle to differentiate himself from the other Charlie.
God.
Genius.
Well done.
Good on you, CB.
Well done. What about you, Dan?
Last of Us, of course, I'm going to catch up with episode 6, I think,
tonight.
After we break
after
tonight.
This.
But I actually been watching a new series that I'm enjoying so far. It's definitely quirky and amusing. It's called Poker Face. And it's by Rian Johnson from Knives Out fame and one of the terrible Star Wars films that we'll forgive him for. But Natasha Lyonne stars in that.
She's great.
I'm up to about episode 4 or 5 or something. Really enjoyable. I tried to get my wife into it, but she didn't kind of get the quirkiness of it at all and wasn't interested. But no, I'm really enjoying it. So I'll continue on with that. Poker Face. There you go, Strangles. Check that out as well, mate.
Okay, yeah. So I'll be catching up with The Last of Us tonight, episode 6. Hey, I want to throw something out there to you boys. Should we do a mid-season review of The Last of Us from episodes 1 to 5?
Is there a break in the season?
No, there's not. But episode 6 is tonight. But we could do it like a catch-up episode and do like maybe a little discussion about episode 1 to 5, and then
Well, I'd like to do that, but I don't think it's unfair because there may be some people that haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so
And-
should we wait until the end and do the whole
Yeah, I
season?
reckon because otherwise,
we're-
because people are catching up and binging that, and I
It's-
don't want to.
It's not often we're all watching the same thing
Yes.
sort of intensely.
That's true. That's true.
So maybe as a
Yeah.
special episode in 4 weeks' time, we'll do a season recap on The Last of Us.
Well, then everyone will know what we're doing,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
cannot tune in
absolutely.
if they don't want
Absolutely.
to hear the spoilers.
Okay, so I've
did
been
we
watching that.
receive any lick outs this week?
I haven't got there yet, Dan. Just
Oh,
relax.
God.
I haven't got there yet.
You made me wait the
okay.
whole fucking
I know.
episode these days.
I know. It's what I do. I'm one of gal's hot birds, just making him wait. Would have happened.
He was
in
he made
fucking
them
scene.
wait.
It would have happened.
He went,
It would have happened.
I got footy training, eh?
I got footy training and touch footy and this and that, and then I got
Friday's the day before footy. You can't possibly come around and root you.
I got 45 minutes on a Sunday afternoon, and that's what you get. But you get the good stuff.
In a full life.
I am catching up with Yellowstone, so I'm almost to the end of season 4, which I'm really enjoying. So
I heard today that Kevin Costner's out of Yellowstone.
it's out. It's ending. It's
Imminently,
ending.
yeah.
So season 5 will be the last season of Yellowstone, and the news is that it's all bad. So it is not going to end well.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
he was in a pay dispute of some sort, or no, he wanted to do less work.
Yeah,
He wanted to perform less, and I think in the first part of last
The guy's
season, yeah, he
73
backs
or
out,
something
yeah.
too. I can kind of understand. He doesn't want to be.
But then he's kind of
Do you want to know?
Right?
Do you want to know the good news though?
What?
There is talk that Kurt Russell is leading a spin-off Yellowstone series.
Ooh.
Oh, fair enough. Well, there's already spin-off.
He's had a
Yellowstone
rant.
series,
But
there's already
the
others,
next
so.
one.
Kurt Russell,
That would be
he
good.
spurned Hollywood years and years and years ago and lives on a ranch
Yeah.
with Goldie
Yeah,
Hawn.
But he can run a Western. We know that.
Oh, mate.
He can run a Western.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm catching up with that. But I watched a movie this week, a new one. Plane. Gerard Butler.
Ah, yes, I've heard about
Mate,
this.
I gotta say, looks and sounds shit. Pretty good.
Okay.
Worth a watch. Dumb action film. He's a pilot. They crash somewhere in the Philippines, where it's in the war zone, and he's got to get. He's the captain. They're my passengers. He's got to get them out, and it's pretty fucking good. It's typical Gerard Butler, but well worth a watch when you get the opportunity. Yeah, because I'm a bit cool. I got to see it a bit earlier than you guys, but it shouldn't be too far away to streaming service, I would think. But Plane, and apparently they've already greenlit a sequel.
Okay.
It's called Ship. Ship.
Oh,
So anyway,
interesting.
they're all over it. Okay, so we've got to the end of another great episode of Born to Watch, and we've ripped the shit out of Can't Buy Me Love, and deservedly so. It is the last movie in the rank bank. Now, next week, we're going back to our comfort zone. Gal, what movie are we doing?
This one's a good movie. We're doing Warrior, people.
Tom Hardy.
It's Tom Hardy. It's been asked to be on here for a while, and I know that Morgs has wanted to review this one. So, yeah, it's going to be. I'm looking forward to rewatching this during the week.
Warriors shit hot. Great choice, G-Man.
Yeah, I like it. Joel Edgerton as well.
Yeah, Joel Edgerton.
Can you believe this movie's 11 years old or nearly 12 years old?
I remember I was at
That's
the video shop when this came out and just absolutely loved it. It was, geez, what a cracking film.
I feel like this movie's only been around for about 5 years. I don't know why. It doesn't-
Nick Nolte should have won an Academy Award for this
Yeah.
movie.
It's very good.
It's one of his best performances of all time. It should be
Tom Hardy's great.
Tom Hardy's great in it. It's going to be a lot of fun actually reviewing that. I think it'll be a different tone to this week's Can't Buy Me Love podcast.
Yes.
But gents, another good job, and we shall see you all next week on the line. But for now, catch ya.
Peace out, bitches.
What about the lick outs?
Oh, we didn't get there.
Yeah, I know. There are no lick out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Born to Watch. To join us on our journey into some of our favourite movies of all time, you can find us on all good podcast networks like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and share with your friends.